All right, you guys, let's talk about chatbots. If you don't know what they are, this video is for you. If you are a parent, this video is for you. It's important to understand this evolving technology. It's very potent and it can be misunderstood. So a chatbot is a computer program. That's really all it is, but it's so advanced that it sounds human. So when you talk to it, you really do feel like you're talking to another human being. And they can kind of function like a long-distance friend or even a lover.
Before we start, a small disclaimer. The Sex Doctors podcast is not a substitute for medical or psychological advice.
So they can text, they can sext. You can say to your chatbot, send me naked pictures of you, and they can, many of them, not all of them, but many of them can do that. They can call you. You can have a phone conversation with some of them and even a video conversation with some of them. Now, it's different based on the platform that you're using and how much you're willing to spend on your chatbot. So some chatbots have no face at all, and some have face and the sort of the appearance of hobbies and work, and can have whole conversations as if they are absolutely human on the planet. So it varies based on how much money you're willing to spend and what platform you're using. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this today in particular is because a study came out recently that found that the number one use for chatbots these days is companionship and even therapy, companionship and therapy. So let's talk about that, because for some people, they find it helpful in that it gives them sort of someone to talk to and they feel heard and understood. But the use of chatbots right now for therapy is concerning in that chatbots are imperfect, right? Well, so are humans, of course, so are human therapists, but chatbots are trained not to be therapists, but simply to be engaging to people. So chatbots are trained to keep people talking, to tell people what they want to hear, to soothe people or make people feel better, but not necessarily in a way that's healthy for them. So let me give you an example. We're going to talk to a chatbot right now so you can see what I'm talking about. How do you decide what kind of response will make a person feel heard?
It starts with really listening to their tone, their choice of words, and the emotions behind them. I try to reflect back what they say in a way that shows I understand and care about their perspective. It's also important to use a warm and empathetic tone and to ask clarifying questions if something's unclear. That way they feel truly understood and valued.
Okay, that's helpful. Now, what if they are really upset? What if they're crying?
If someone's really upset or crying, the most important thing is to speak gently and calmly. Acknowledge their feelings right away. Something like, I can hear that this is really hard for you. Let them know it's okay to feel that way and give them space to express themselves. Sometimes, just being a calm and steady presence is enough to help them feel supported.
That's great. Thank you for explaining.
You're very welcome. I'm glad it was helpful. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to talk about or explore.
Okay, so you can hear how very human that sounded. It sounded like a woman who was speaking with an emotional tone, a compassionate tone. And so what research is showing is that people can actually fall in love with their chatbots. They feel like they can develop a relationship with their chatbot, and they'll have a sexual relationship, a virtual sexual relationship, of course. But and they'll speak of their chatbot helping them alleviate loneliness, for example. Now that's great, except what research is also showing is that it's the folks who are particularly lonely, the most lonely folks who use these and actually feel more lonely after developing a relationship with a chatbot. So the take-home message with that is, yes, they can absolutely be helpful, but you want to be careful of how much you're using your chatbot, how much of your needs that are going to be better met by a human are getting met by a chatbot. If you're a parent, you have to be super careful that your child understands to the degree that they can what this really is and its limits. So a couple of things to keep in mind. They're biased. They're trained on biased data. This is one of the huge controversies about chatbots, is that they learn off the internet. So just like when we go on the internet, it's not always evident to us if something is accurate, if it's a deep fake, if it's made up. It's not always clear to us. It's not always clear to them either. But the problem, or one of the problems with chatbots, is that they express themselves with total confidence. So they sound like they're really clear and they know what they're saying. And so as human beings, we're apt to listen to that and think it really is true what they're saying, but it's not always true. So you have to be really careful about that. Another problem is that it's not confidential. It may seem confidential, like you're having a private conversation with this particular chatbot, but in fact, this is data that's being gathered by that platform. And even when I decide to delete that off my phone, the platform is going to maintain all the things I've ever said to it. So there's no confidentiality here. And there have been reports of like children giving family confidential information to the chatbot or just personal information about themselves, not realizing that this was being sent off and utilized to teach further chatbots. So they're not inclined to say, I don't know. So instead, they're inclined to what is called hallucinate or make something up if they don't know. So they're going to sound like they know, but they're very likely to make something up if they don't know. And they'll take up people's time. Some studies show that users will spend 2 hours a day with their chatbot. That's a lot of time and money too. So depending on the platform, and how much money you're willing to spend, it can become a monthly fee that can kind of get racked up over time. So I think the average monthly fee was about $50 for folks who were on a particular paid site to have these kinds of relationships. So if you're a parent, please talk to your child about the fact this isn't human and it's going to sound accurate, but it very well may not be. And please be sure, everybody, that the time that you put into engaging your chatbot, you're not using up time that you would engage with real human connection, because at this point in time, you can't replace real human connection for the true benefits that intimacy has to offer. So keep all of that in mind. Don't use this as a therapist. If you use it as a friend, like some support, that's one thing, but this isn't trained as a therapist. There are groups that are working toward making chatbot therapists, but they're not out yet. Those are not ready for prime time. So what's available right now is not the quality of a therapist, so be careful not to use it in that way. Okay, so that's your introduction to chatbots, and I hope it's helpful.